Achtung, Cthulhu Tactics is a turn-based strategy RPG pretty much in the vein of Mario vs. Rabbids. But then there is no Mario and neither are there any rabbits. No, it's more akin to XCOM, but then you're fighting off Nazis and Lovecraftian horrors. The game is based on Modiphius' tabletop RPG and miniature game, which I definitely need to get my hands on at some point in time, and after a successful Kickstarter campaign, finally made its way over to the Nintendo Switch. The game is published by Ripstone, who were kind enough to send me over this review copy to check out, and is developed by Org Digital. And it is one of those games which is a potential hidden gem, as there is a lot of exciting stuff going down underneath its hood. Before we dive in, be sure to enter the Blue Rider giveaway while there is still time, and let's have a look at Achtung, Cthulhu Tactics for the Nintendo Switch. In this game you follow the four protagonists: British intelligence operative Captain Eric Badger Harris, Ariane Dubois, member of the French Resistance, Corporal Akidi I. Singh, and American Sergeant Carter, as they take on the Nachtwolfe and their rivals the Black Sun, as you fight your way through 11 missions and their side story counterparts. The plot revolves around the what if concept. Had the Nazis been successful in their search for any occult activities, it does so by incorporating Lovecraftian mythos creatures, predominantly shoggoths, and a good variety of human crossovers. Even though it is drawing from the Achtung Cthulhu universe, the text messages in-game and the briefing before going into a mission, although definitely nice additions to the core gameplay, are unable to tie it all together from a mere plot perspective alone. But that by no means implies it's not worth your time. It in fact is a very solid game with both recognizable and unique gameplay elements. After selecting a mission from the map back at your headquarters and having received your briefing, you head out.
Mademoiselle Dubois, Corporal Singh, your orders are to make your way behind enemy lines.
Movement around the battlefield when not in active engagement is as straightforward as it comes. While moving around with one character selected, the entire party moves along to the same position. Keep moving around to clear the area of the Shroud, or Fog of War, to find interactive elements and search for your enemies. The moment an enemy spots one of your characters, the combat phase gets activated, and this is the point where things get interesting. After the enemy has finished up the opening round, it's your turn in classical turn-based fashion. Cycle through the four protagonists and move them into a strategical place to optimize their defense, as the game utilizes defensive bonuses depending on where you're standing in regards to your opponents. And once you've found a nice spot, you might want to set up an overwatch to take out an enemy in their own turn. Alternatively, you can move into an offensive position to get a clear line of sight to take out the enemy forces. The latter is quite important, as any of your attacks are affected by the hit percentage, which goes up significantly the closer you can get to getting a good look at your target. Be aware though that apart from an active overwatch, there is no option for return fire or counter attack during your opponent's turn, and vice versa. Every move a character makes, including movement around the battlefield, firing a weapon, using their special abilities, or even reloading a weapon, use up action points, which are typically set at 12 per round per character, which don't have to be used up all at once though. As the game progresses and characters develop new skills, it gets increasingly more in-depth and much more interesting to figure out the best way of defeating your opponents as a cohesive team. And that is the key element in this game: teamwork. Each member has their own specialty. Corporal Singh is your best option when melee combat is required, with Poisonous Shroud and a quick dagger. Sergeant Carter is the ideal candidate for long-range attempts and scoping out distant enemies. Captain Harris does well in mid-range and is happiest attacking a multitude of targets. And Ariane Dubois, with her little devil sitting on her shoulder, has a big bag of tricks, and I'd say is your best soldier, as she fits just about any scenario, from close combat to long-range efforts. In addition to regular movements and attacks, there are special skills which can be unlocked, more on that later, and are based on a momentum system. By successfully attacking your enemies, you earn momentum points, which can be consumed by using these skills, and some of these are quite powerful. This game shines most when combining skills of various party members utilizing their specialties to break through the enemy's defenses in the most effective way. As with any good RPG system, each character has a set of statistics, but the ones that matter most in active combat are the three as displayed in the bottom left corner: health or hit points, luck, and the stress meter respectively. Luck acts as a body armor of sorts and gets depleted first before draining your actual health. The more the characters witness by being hurt themselves or seeing their team members getting injured, the more the stress meter fills up, making them more susceptible to status effects, yep, that's in there as well, and a lower performance overall. Some of these status effects can be quite a nuisance, as one of them can drastically cut your action points short, rendering you pretty helpless at times. Once a mission has been completed and you manage to make your way out of the battle zone, you earn experience points, which help level up your characters, and once leveled up, they gain skill points. The aforementioned skills get unlocked through the incorporated skill tree, a combination of passive and active skills, a nice way of shaping the characters the way you see fit. You can even retrain them if you're not happy with the way it worked out. The only odd thing about this though is that by the time you reach the maximum level of the characters, just about all of the skills will be unlocked if you've spent all of their points, which doesn't make it much of a skill tree really. Another thing you might want to have a look at is the loadout system. In there you will find your main weapon, you can set up a weapon mod to enhance it, and you can equip any of the gained items. I think it's a good way of adding some valuable bonuses to your characters, but it could have been a little more fleshed out for sure. You know what, let's try out one of those fancy new items. Nice. Visually it's all there, as the game looks pretty neat. Sure, there's a lot of rehashing of the same level elements, but somehow the stages do feel unique. Especially the Dream State missions with their eerie purple glow. Unfortunately, the game does suffer from some slowdowns, whether docked or on the go, either when things get heated or even when cycling through your four protagonists. And more often than I would like to admit, the sound gets out of sync. One can attribute this all to the touch of H.P. Lovecraft for sure, but I'd be all the happier if a patch could take care of this issue. Also, during the enemies' phase, the camera movement while people are being put in position leaves much to be desired for. During the player's turn though, the camera controls are great, with 4 angles to choose from, making it that much easier to navigate the battlefield. As I mentioned in the introduction, this game was funded through a Kickstarter campaign, and going over their pages it is mentioned, quote, "If the project is successfully backed, we'll be able to add the heroic Pathfinder Demon Hunters into the game," end quote. These are Native American warriors which should make for a good addition to the current lineup. Achtung, Cthulhu Tactics is a solid game which will have fans of the original board game clamoring for more. While a bit stale during the first few missions, the game definitely grows on you and gets more interesting and intense as the game progresses, and ends pretty strongly as the heroes reach their full potential and teamwork reaches fever pitch. While there is not a whole lot of replay value once the campaign has been cleared, you can put your skills to the test at a higher difficulty level, and that is something which I can definitely recommend doing. I absolutely think it is a missed opportunity not to incorporate any form of multiplayer, as that would have made for a very interesting engagement for sure. And speaking of things interesting, you know what would be cool? A Shoggoth amiibo. Now that would be something worth collecting. Achtung, Cthulhu Tactics is currently listed at just under $25 US, which is a fair price for what the game has to offer. It's one of those games which makes for a good pick up and play session, as it isn't all that heavy on the Switch's battery life and missions take just about half an hour of your time. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this game and if you're planning on picking this one up. Hit the like button if you have enjoyed my review, and I will see you next time.